Hey, 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 what's up, America? This is the Ace Michaels Show. And I'm Ace Michaels, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be anywhere, really, if I'm keeping it 100% real, especially with everything that's going on. You never know where you're going to be or if being the key word, if you're going to be. Speaking of things that don't really be, but are out there circulating, I know you were wondering how it's going to segue. Um, AI, freaking AI, man. Really? Really, dog? Like, okay, we used to be able to grab an instrument, write a couple chords down, come up with a melody, put that stuff in the studio, go out on a tour, make lots of money, live happily ever after. Now we've got to compete with our desktop app doing it faster, better, and more productively than us and making more money. The damn computer is making more money than us. And you know what's funny? Whenever you call these services, right, and they're like, the computer wants to see if you're human, you got to verify if you're a human. Have you ever thought about this? Humans made computers. Now humans got to prove to computers that they're humans. What the F and the A, man? So we got AI music now. AI music. Dr. Dre just signed an AI artist. Timbaland just signed an AI artist. The movie industry has this AI artist that is supposedly going to take all these actors' jobs away from them. What are we doing, people? What are we doing? Has our love for the Matrix taken over our foundation of reality? Like, we know it's not real because we created it. Why are we praising it as if it's real when we know it's not real because we created it? See how this is like an infinity loop? It keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going. This is like a bad scene out of a futuristic movie. It does not end well for the humans. I will tell you this right now. Even if AI doesn't take over the world, what happens to our artistic creativity? What happens to us creating? You think we can go several generations without creating art and be okay as a species? If that was the case, why would we ever start in the first place? Why did humans ever start painting on walls if that was not something that God intended for us to do? Why wouldn't we have just created an app at that point that could have done it for us? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm screaming. And if I sound pissed off, it's because I am pissed off. This is the most irresponsible thing that human beings have ever done. AI is very, very irresponsible. It's like a nuclear bomb of irresponsibility. It's like a turd of stupidity. That's what it is, guys. It's that. Anyway, welcome to the Ace Micro Show. If you have an opinion, idea, thought, suggestion, conviction, belief, I would love to hear it. Make sure you shoot us an email. I'll read it on the show. I don't care. I'll put you on the show. If you ever want to be on the show, you want to be my guest, you want to come on and rant and rave about something that you feel is, "Argh," you're welcome to do it on the Ace Michael Show. Today, my guest is a singer songwriter. She is killing it, doing it, and killing it. And she's a real person. I got a real person on the show today. That although that might be interesting one day to have an AI guest on the show because the chat bots, you really can't tell the difference. You really can't. Sorry, man, you can't. So maybe we'll do that. Matter of fact, I think we will do that. The next show, we're going to do an AI chat bot interview. That's what's up. All right. So, welcome to the show today. My guest, Misha Rays, singer songwriter, is with us on the Ace Michael Show. Hello, Misha Rays.
Hi, how are you?
I'm muy excelente. And how are you doing?
Doing well.
Excellent. So, Misha is a singer and a songwriter. Tell us what prompted that magic in your life.
Well, it's always been in my family. My auntie was considered the queen of the West Coast blues. So I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and
Hmm.
we have tons of musicians in my family, and it's just a great outlet.
So, you have tons. you literally have in weight. You have tons of musicians. Does that mean everybody's overweight, or does that mean everybody's? What do you mean tons? How you gonna have tons of them? You mean a
Probably.
You mean a couple of them? More than a few?
Yeah.
More than a handful, but still doesn't make a ton.
There's probably 1,000 pounds between us.
Okay, okay, that's all right. That part. All right. So then you decided against all odds that you would be the musician that would break through, or is this something that you couldn't sleep at night because you keep coming up with lyrics and songs and melodies?
Well, definitely. For me, it's definitely about the artistry and the craft and not about fame or any kind of attention seeking. I am one of those people that has to create, has to perform, has to sing, and can't really shake it.
Mm. That is a deep statement right there. You know, Misha, I'm one of those people, like, I'm starting to feel like I'm one of the last artists left. Like, there's literally, I'm feeling like there's a dying breed of artistic creatives. Do you ever get that feeling?
Definitely.
Well, what do you do about it? Don't just tell me I mean, tell me more. Don't just leave us hanging. Like, what the fuck, dog? Like,
Um, well, yeah, it's a social media age. Like I was saying earlier, you just see a lot of people, they say they're musicians, but their whole page is modeling shots, booty shots, all
mm,
this kind of stuff. So sometimes, or just people that they're not willing to put the time and effort into it. I've been interviewing singing teachers, and even that, it's like, whoa, that
mm,
feels like another job. Um, so to go farther and to get better and to truly develop, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of effort. I've sacrificed my social life to dedicate to this because I also work a lot to support myself.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, it does feel like, okay, where are the serious people at? Who are the people who are actually making things happen? And then there's also the anxiety of it all. It's like, is this going to go anywhere? Is this good enough? Does this compete with what's on the charts? Is this relevant? Um, Sometimes it can feel like an echo chamber. Sometimes it can feel like, who can I even share these ideas with that is not going to think I'm crazy and is as obsessed with music and creative expression as I am? So yeah, it can feel lonely at times.
Do you know that? And by the way, very well put. That was a wonderful, like, literally motivational speech right there. Um, do you think that there will come a time again where you'll start to see more music artists, for example? Like, you know, there hasn't been a band. Now, think about this. There hasn't been a band that's won a Grammy for like decades. There hasn't been a number one song in the country by a band for like a decade. So I'm saying that to say, like, you just don't see the mentality of people learning an instrument, going to band rehearsal, putting together a show. It's almost like it's a lost art, or it's a dying form of art. Do you will you agree with that, or what do you think on
Well, I think with bands, it's really hard because one, there's what, five egos,
that?
four at minimum, and everybody's trying to go solo eventually. They're not, I don't feel like a lot of groups are focused on staying together as much as it was in the past. And even in the past, it was still, you know, wanting to go solo or wanting shine if you're not the front person. I do think that there is a rock category in the Grammys, so someone always wins, but I also think that if you even have one song that's a hit, you could tour off of it for years. So if you have a family and children and you have that one song that's kind of feeding you and it's getting you gigs, it's like, what is the motivation to continue when it's
Hmm,
that many people with extracurricular activities, families, other things going on, don't really like the exploitation
hmm,
of the Hollywood machine, don't want to be on Star Magazine, don't want all their business and legal history out there forever for everyone to see. It's just like, hey, let me just get this one song and go about my business. And hey, book shows in Germany or something. David Hasselhoff it, just kind of
that's all.
go out of the country and keep your privacy and your sanity as well.
So now you brought up a couple of interesting points in there. The one thing that really was sticking to my brain, like molasses, was when you were talking about this whole scenario of the fictional band that you just mentioned. You were talking in terms of marketing, promotion, touring. Like these were the things that were the last thoughts on an artist's mind back in the day. Like an artist was truly not even supposed to be worried about marketing and strategy and how to tour and build. Like an artist was just supposed to be able to write songs. Just like back in the day, I'm sure Da Vinci wasn't thinking, okay, I've got to create this Mona Lisa in a 16 by 9, a 14 by 3. Like it's got to be able to fit as a screensaver or as a phone. Eventually, they're going to need for this to be a background on their phone. Their wallpaper needs to be this Mona Lisa. He wasn't thinking like that. That wasn't even a reality. It was just about painting. He wasn't even probably, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. That's my disclaimer. I don't know what Leonardo was thinking. Okay? That's real talk. But probably he wasn't thinking about algorithms when he was making his art. Whereas today's artists had better be thinking about algorithm every step of the way. Would you agree?
Definitely.
Eh,
Um, it's stressful to have to be your own marketer, PR, managerial machine. It takes away focus, energy, and time from the art for sure.
And so what happens when this goes wrong? Like I just last night I got extremely high and I was like, I've never seen this movie Wicked. Let me see what this is all about. What are the people talking about, you know? And I guess if you like that kind of movie, it's a good movie. If you're into that kind of wizards and kind of, that shit, right? But um, as I was watching it, all I could hear as a music producer, all I could hear was off key singing and off rhythm timing. And little Ariana was just so talented. She's a great, great singer, but the poor girl needs somebody needs to throw her a biscuit for lunch or something. Like I couldn't take my eyes off of the spectacle long enough to even tell you what the story's about. And that's what art has become. Art has become like with AI, if you want a wand, you can just put it in later. You don't need it on the set. You're on a green screen. You don't need all that stuff. You can just put it in later. And the same thing has happened to music. They've got music that they say, oh, you can download this program and AI will make the song for you. AI will even sing the song for you. AI will write the lyrics. AI will write the bass lines, the chords, put the beat underneath it. And all of this is going to sound, by the way, master quality by the time it comes out. It's going to sound like it was mastered in a recording studio. So, what does a human really have to do? But then those AI songs are just so terrible. And I'm not saying the movie Wicked was terrible. I could see that it was a good movie for those who are into that kind of stuff. I'm not. But I could see, like, okay, I see this is kind of interesting how they're doing all this. But it was all done on a sound stage with computers. So where's the art?
Um, I think it's hard too because that was a musical, so they had all the animals and stuff like that. They had, you know, costumed, whatever, and rigged, So it's a little hard to take, kind of a fantasy film from the theater stage and turned it into a movie.
Okay,
But yeah,
okay, but there I disagree with you. I am sorry, I disagree. Because that movie, that particular movie, is based on a fantasy stage play, The Wizard of Oz. And so was The Wiz. And so why were they able to create art that has lasted for almost 100 years now? And where movies like Wicked or some of these other CGI laced films, they're just so cold and sterile. And just like AI music. Yeah, they have AI music that, yeah, it may have a beat. It may have a little catchy dance, kind of limerick or whatever you want to call it. But it's not. the music that is going to stick to our bones the way that we're listening to classic rock and roll, soul, R&B, and funk 100 years later. Nina Simone. Nina Simone cannot be duplicated. There cannot be an AI version of Nina Simone that's going to take over the way that Nina Simone took over. And technically, the quality of those records is horrible compared to the technology we have to record music today. But why are we still listening to it? Because it's great and it embodies the human spirit. The human spirit. Would you agree?
I agree, but I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's hundreds of years. Technology is always moving us forward. So I think audiences would also be equally as appalled if they saw a dude in a lion costume standing there. And I just don't think that would resonate with a modern audience.
Well, see, and therein lies the rub because I think this is one time in the history of humans that technology is actually moving us backwards. See, because what we will gain with relevance as far as being able to create quickly, we're going to lose with the ability to be able to create successfully. Like, where are the auteurs? Where are the filmmakers that make great films going to come from after this generation has had 20, 30 years of AI slop? You know, it's like everything that we start to see, podcasts used to be one individual in his basement who had some great ideas or even some interesting ideas, and he was putting out a podcast. Now podcast has become all about algorithms, all about putting titles that will grab people's attention long enough to get them to click to buy your product or blah blah blah. So it's all become, instead of us living a life where we have freedom and the pursuit of happiness, we've become to where we're living a life that's containment and the pursuit of likes.
That's true, but it's definitely things always circle back. People get, politically, if you want to just touch that just really quick, people get really sick of everything being so old school, so outdated, so regressive, so conservative. So then it swings to completely modern, and then people are like, "Whoa, that's too much." And then we swing back the other way. It's really hard to find a happy medium for
She
people. I
said,
don't even know
"Whoa,
why the
that's too much."
concept exists. Happy
That's
medium, like, where is it ever? Where can you ever find it? So
that's interesting. So, what do you plan to do artistically that's going to make a change? Because obviously, you're coming out as an artist to do something different than what's been done before. You're not just going to duplicate the success of other people. So, what is going to be the different thing about Misha Rays?
well, I don't know if I'm necessarily revolutionary, but I am about authenticity and feeling and emotional connection. I think a lot of people have mental illness these days. So many people have it because there is no emotional connection and therefore there is no emotional and social development. So, with humanizing my art as much as possible, which I think you're talking about with AI dehumanizing everything,
Hmm.
and just being really raw and genuine and authentic and upfront, versus a character, I think, uh, stands out. I mean, that's what listeners want. That's why they watch the vlogs. That's why they want the behind the scenes video. That's why there's so many interviews and things going on. People want the humanistic aspect of art. They want art that they can feel. If you can't feel it, is it really art?
Now, there's a great, great, great point. If you can't feel it, is it really art? Wow. That is deep. That's the t shirt statement of the week. If you can't feel it, is it really art? Dang. Misha, well, so what is your plan? What are you doing? You got a record coming out, you got some shows, you got some merch. What's popping?
So I'm always going to be working on music, in all facets and developing as an artist. But yeah, I'm just focused on booking shows, as a cover artist as well as an original artist. And yeah, getting some videos together. The visual component of artistry is so popular right now. Fans want to feel like they want to zoom in on you. Like they want to feel like they can touch you even if it's virtually. So I'm just focused on making a lot of visual as well as music. So yeah.
Hmm. Is that hard for you to do? Like, is that challenging to have to think about both components as opposed to just having, if you just could focus on music?
Well, yeah, because now I have to be an actress and a brand rep
Hmm.
for my own music, which is a little daunting. But if you have to do it to get booked and get out there and do what we love to do, which is perform, then we have to do it.
And so that's interesting. So that's something that you go into the industry knowing that's just part of it, just like headshots, just like EPK, just like a demo tape. Like this is just part of it. You got to know the marketing, or you got to be willing to do the marketing as part of it. It's part of the new generation of being an artist. Correct? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Hmm. That's interesting. It's very interesting. It makes me wonder if there was a transition, say 100 years ago, if there was a transition between people saying, okay, not only do you need to learn to play clarinet, but you better know how to write sheet music as well, because that's where the industry's going, whether you like it or not. Sheet music is the new thing, man. So, you know, you're not just going to be able to make it on your talent. You're going to have to be able to transcribe.
Well, yeah, all these things develop because the competition is so fierce. So, like you said, what do you have that other people don't have, or what are you bringing to the table that no one else is, or can you do all of these other things? Say we don't need you for music right now because I don't know, some reggaeton song is hot. So can you be the face of this acne product? Can you are you in recovery? Are you sober now? Can you get on these billboards and speak to the addiction community? So yeah, you have to be able to exploit yourself in all these different ways because you can't just sing 24 hours a day, 365 days a week. And sometimes they don't want you to sing. They want somebody else to step up for whatever reason. So, I mean, it makes sense, but it is a lot, especially when people judge your looks and you're like, wait, I'm not a model. I'm an artist.
Hmm.
So,
Well, and that brings up another in this very, we'll call it, for lack of a better term, we'll call it very cosmetic society. Is that a challenge for you as an artist to say, look, I don't need to look a certain way. I'm trying to sing here.
well, I think you can get away with that to a certain extent. We've seen Ruben Studdard, we've seen Adele, we've seen the new artist that everyone loves. I think her name is Lula Rowe. She sings the messy, now I'm too fucking clean, whatever. So these people don't have the traditional body type that you would see for a charting artist, but they're also really put together. Their alternative style is somehow polished. Their suit is on point. The makeup is on point. The hair is on point. There is a presentation you have to have, and as a woman, I think it's because of beauty standards. I think it requires a lot more time, money, and energy. So yeah, it's a lot. I mean, getting your nails and toes done, oh my gosh, easily over 100 a time. So just even on a nail and a toe, you're already out 100 every 2 weeks. So it's just crazy.
But beauty standards weren't always a thing, and there's always been, you want to talk about weight. I mean, Pavarotti was a great Italian singer who wasn't in great shape. Aretha Franklin wasn't in great shape. Janis Joplin wasn't in great shape. I mean, there's always been an exception to the rule where you could say, well, okay, this pretty, thin, uh, very genetically beautiful person could become a famous person. Yeah, that can happen. But there's plenty of other examples of people who weren't genetically superior people who were talented enough to rise to the top. And now, where it comes to AI, though, I've never seen any non genetically attractive AI bot Yet, maybe that's going to be a thing where we will actually see, here's a plus size AI model. Now here's uh, an AI model that has one eye, or maybe an AI model that, sometimes they do have six fingers by whatever reason. They sometimes the fingers just don't seem to work out where it comes to the AI. I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but do you think that will become a thing where we'll actually start to see that the genetic cosmetic look isn't really important anymore? It's just, what do you have to say? What are you about?
I think it's always been important. I think there's very few examples of people that supersede the beauty standard. I mean, we can count them on our hands.
Hmm.
Um, I think AI though, people are interested in AI. It's cool. It's another form of art, but at the end of the day, the whole stand culture, the people that buy the merch, the people that go to the shows consistently, the people that wait for the drops, the Beyonce Christmas drop, the Mariah Carey Christmas drop, so on and so forth. The whole thing is that you can go to a meet and greet. The whole thing is that maybe you picture yourself, in a conversation, in an interaction with this person. Nicki Minaj on her radio show. There's a chance that you can talk back to her and it can mean something.
Hmm.
There's no meaning in AI. AI just tells you whatever you want to hear. It has a list of preloaded answers to certain things. It pulls information that's already out there
Hmm.
and gives you what it thinks you want to hear. It's such an echo chamber. It's like I've used AI before and I'm just like, hey, this is lame. This robot is trying to pretend like it wants to be my boyfriend. That's freaking weird. And I'll tell it. I'll put it in check. I'll be like, you are a bot. This is never gonna happen. Be real. Don't try to mimic romance. It's impossible. Stop it. And it'll be like, you caught me. Every time I call it out, it says, you caught me. And it's like, yeah, like stop trying to make me forget that I'm talking to something that's not real. That's dumb.
Have you ever tried to sing along with your AI chatbot? Like do a
No, I don't
duet
have
with?
like the advanced version. I just have.
I'd be curious to see how that would play out. I've asked AI questions like, who's your favorite Beatle, to see what it will say, or what's your favorite song from the '70s and why. Questions that you would think a human would have to think about and really reflect and go, well, this song reminds me of my childhood, where of course there is no childhood with AI. But the same thing, there's one really great guy on social media. I like to follow his reviews of music. And the question was put to him, why do you think music sucks today? Right now, whether you actually think music sucks or not, but this was his take. His take was, well, the one reason that music sucks today is because there is no originality in the fact that everybody's using the same tools. There's only Pro Tools and Logic, and a few other programs. So if you're using those programs, no matter how you blend the sounds, you're still using the same tools. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to reflect back on the music that comes out being a little bit more generic because everybody's using the same amp, uh, uh, the same microphone inputs, the same, everything's the same plug-in, right? What are your thoughts on that?
I That's a good point, but I also think that artists are held to a standard by these companies. These companies don't want artists to move away from too much from what is a proven
Hmm.
or known success. So we have all kinds of artists doing weird stuff and cool stuff that we're not going to get on the radio, or we're not going to get on YouTube, or it's not going to be, a transition music on a TV or film. It's not going to be sync licensed because it's too weird. It's too out there. So they're always trying to appeal to the most amount of people, and it's like most people aren't going to listen to an instrumental of, I don't know, some kind of mallet hitting a pole, and that's your drum pattern. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd be interested into hearing all kinds of weird music and yodeling and like I like free jazz and all that kind of stuff, but the average person thinks it's a headache. They want something they can sing along to.
Mm.
They want something that's easily memorable and relatively relatable. That's all they want. So, yeah, this market for interesting and unique sounds doesn't is more underground.
Interesting. And do you think it's always been that way? Like maybe we didn't know that in the 1920s that it wasn't always about jazz improvisation, but maybe what people were trying to do is exactly what you say. They really just wanted something to play in the background while they plowed the fields or while they did their work around the house. They weren't really interested in 14-minute long clarinet solos, right? That wasn't really what music was supposed to be, maybe ever. Maybe it was always meant to be something a little bit more accessible to the masses than it became.
Yeah, I mean, things always evolve. People always want to go further and further and further. Um, but yeah, this kind of drive-through music is very American.
Hmm. True
You
that.
can, yeah, you hear it in a store, you can hear it at a theme park. It's just able to be exploited in multiple venues, whereas, a mallet hitting a pole is not.
I love it. Tell us a little bit about your mallet hitting a pole before we have to go. Tell us a little bit about Misha Rays, what we can expect from you musically, and what's your genre and all that stuff.
Um, I would definitely say my genre is some kind of alternative R&B, um, with electronic beats. It's easier than, like we said earlier, keeping a band of 5 people, getting people to show up, getting people to rehearse and invest and stuff. So that's mostly why I do electronic music. If I could, I would be in a band.
Hmm.
Um, but I am gonna add some instruments to my musicianship. Here in a bit, I want to learn guitar. I want to learn piano, like really well.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm definitely an electronic alternative R&B artist, and I'm going to be doing a lot of that style of music, and from there branch out into real instruments and just give you, a perspective that's kind of overlooked, which is a um, 30 plus woman, entrepreneur, single, animalist, um, traveler, lover of linguistics, reading, fashion, creative intellectual that just kind of lives uh, to love and enjoy life. So you're going to get the perspective from someone that's not living a typical life. So it'd be actually really cool to get into my music and kind of escape into a reality that not many people are living. I think most people have kids, um, and are doing kind of the family thing. So definitely kind of um, a creative approach that's a little bit more rare.
I like that. And I'm looking forward to hearing that from you, Misha Rays. How do we stalk you pleasantly on social media now if we want to follow you?
Oh Lord. My Instagram is at Misha Rays Music. So that's MISHARAYS Music. And then from there, that'll be the portal to contact me or find any of my other links and things like that coming up.
Well, there you have it. There's a real interview with a real human music artist today, ladies and gents. And everybody, if you want to be on the show, I'm serious. All you have to do is let us know. We'll put you on the show, speak your mind, get your ideas out there. Today's guest has been Misha Rays, music artist, singer, songwriter. Misha, thank you for doing the show today. Everybody else, you know what I say at the end of the show, man. Live the life you love and love the life you live. Thank you.
Thank you.